Hi, I'm Tessa and welcome to Little Lady Homestead. One of my favorite things when she heels is how she kind of goose steps because she's trying to match my pace. It's the cutest thing ever. Yes, you are. You're a good girl. Good puppy. Yes, I love you. Lucy? Come. Yes, good girl. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. So this is Lucy. She is my 6-month-old English Lab puppy. Come here, Lucy, sit. And she is just full of energy. She's been sleeping all morning. And so now she is ready to play and not so ready to be in this video, but that's okay. That's part of why I'm filming this video is because, there she goes. She thinks she can play with the cat. The cat does not agree. Good girl. Lucy, come. Leave it. Come. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Careful, sit. Good girl. Lucy is the first dog I have actually trained, and before I got her, I researched as heavily as I could without actually taking a class in person on how to train a dog. We had 2 beagles before we got Lucy, and I cannot say that they were trained. They knew their names, they knew inside and outside, and maybe a couple other things. Mostly they just didn't care. They were smart, but they didn't really care to please or follow commands, and I have to say that that's partly my fault too, because I just was not consistent with them and didn't actually intentionally train them. But with Lucy, I really wanted to train her because I want her to be a good... I have treats in here. I really want having her to be easy and fun and enjoyable, and especially being off leash on our property. I want her to know where her home is. I want her to come when she's called, to move back and get out of the way when she needs to, and to be soft around my kids so that they can play outside and not worry about getting pummeled by a dog. No bite. So I have been working hard over the last 4 months that we've had her to train her, and unfortunately, since my daughter started school in the fall, we have all been sick. There's probably been about 2 weeks over the last few months that we haven't been sick, and so Lucy's training has really fallen by the wayside, unfortunately. So although I think she's doing really well, I know that we could be doing better. There are 3 main things that I really want to work with her at this point on, and there's plenty more that I want to work on, but that'll come with time. Right now, I really want to solidify her recall. When I call her name, I want her to stop everything that she's doing. I want her to come to me. And that comes into play a lot if there's a chicken that's loose, if there's somebody coming over to visit. I want her to stop going towards the exciting thing and comes towards me. Also, the next thing that I want to work with her on is heel, because there are times where I need her to stay right by me, especially if we're leaving that really exciting thing. Once she hears the command heel, I want her to know that she should be glued to my side and walk with me. We've also started taking her out and about to Lowe's a couple of times and just around town, and I want her to be able to walk on a leash next to me. And we've practiced it a lot on the farm here, and as long as there's no distractions, that's fine. But having people around, especially other dogs, it is hugely distracting for her. So I can tell from when we first start her in public to the end when we're about to leave, she makes a lot of progress even in that 30 to 40 minute time frame. You're silly. She just wants pets. So I want to keep working on that, and me spending more time with her outside, I can really tell every single time I train with her outside, she's better. And when I don't pay enough attention to her for a couple days, then I can really start to see her get naughty. So it's really about being consistent. And a lot of people don't like it, but I really think that training a dog is very similar to training or raising kids. It's all about positive reinforcement. It's about consistency above all else. If you say a thing, then you have to mean it, and you have to mean it every time. Ah, no bite. So there, if she's biting me and I don't want her to bite me, I need to tell her right away. And I probably didn't tell her fast enough, but every single time she does it, I need to tell her. Otherwise, it's confusing. Why was it okay to bite her then and not another time? Get back. Good girl. So even though I am all about, no, you leave it. Even though I'm all about positive reinforcement, you can probably hear no bite. Drop it. Good girl, yes. Even though I'm all about positive reinforcement, I probably can't edit out all of the times that I use drop it, good girl. I use my voice. And it's funny because it works. That's one thing that works for the dogs or the animals and the kids. Everybody knows what means. And so I am stern with her. I need her to know that I'm the boss, although I would never hit her. There has only been one time where I didn't hit her, but I tackled her. She was chasing my chickens. One of the chickens got out, and she wasn't trying to hurt it, but she was running and chasing it and having a great time. But I needed her to listen to me to leave it, and she was not leaving it. And so I tackled her and held her down to the ground, and I told her in a very stern voice to leave it. And then after that day, she started to understand what leave it means. But again, it just takes that constant reinforcement and consistency. So I think I only talked about 2 of the things that I wanted to work with her on in this video, which is name recall and heel. I also want to work on drop it with her. And I already said it right now when she got my sweater and was biting it. I need her to drop it every single time. And so the way I train with her is by using treats, and also the if she's doing something egregiously wrong. So I'm just going to go through and let you follow along with how I'm training her on these things. And I am not perfect. I am not a dog trainer. She is the first dog that I've actually trained in my life. And so I'm just doing the best that I can, and again, trying to put as much time and consistency as I can into it. I know that she is going to be a great dog. She's already a great dog, and we love her so much. I've never had a lab before, and I'm just so happy that we picked this breed because, no bite? They really are so sweet, and how much they're willing to work to please you is amazing. Going from a beagle to a lab is a crazy night and day experience because she actually cares. The beagles really are the best. They are so much fun, and they have such big personalities, and they're so smart. But a drawback is that they have no desire to please, except pleasing themselves. So it's nice to have a lab who really cares and really wants to please.
So the first thing I'm going to do is attach this long lead line to Lucy, and the purpose of this is I can walk with her off leash, but this is going to trail about 20 feet behind her. So if I call her and she is just not listening, I can get at least close enough to grab this, and I can redirect her back towards me. And listen, Lucy, sit, good girl. So this is an area that she usually gets distracted in because there's lots of different areas. I think she can, get down. I think she can already smell the treats on me, which she does get excited when she smells treats and she wants to stay nearby. So I'm just going to walk around with her and see what she does and try to give her commands to redirect her if she's making some mistakes. So we'll see how this goes. Now the things that I'm working on again are name recall. Even if she just looks at me when I talk to her, that's really good. And then if I tell her to come, then I want her to come. Good girl, sit. Lay down. Yes, good girl. Good girl. It's been a while since we worked on lay down. No, get down. No, get down. No jump. Good girl. Now, jumping up is a big deal to me because if she jumps up on my kids, then she's going to knock them over and really hurt them. And so the way that I learned is always just put up your knee. Don't try to kick, but if she jumps into your knee, she's going to get hurt. Good girl, Lucy. All right, lay down. Lucy, lay down. Good girl. Yes, good girl. Good girl. And I really like to be really enthusiastic and over the top when I say good girl, that she's doing a good job. Good girl, Lucy. All right, so now I just kind of want to walk around with her, let her get distracted, and then I'll do that name recall. Hopefully something really exciting happens and she won't want to come near me, and then if she does, then I can give her a big treat and a big verbal reward. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's go. Come on. Look at her, she wants to heel. All right, Lucy, let's work on heel then. All right, heel, heel, heel. Good girl, yes. Good girl. All right, sit. Sit. Yes, good girl. She's hungry. All right, let's go, heel. Good girl. Good girl. What a good girl. All right, let's go back. Heel. Good girl. Good girl. Right? Sit. Yes, good girl. That was so good. So something actually just happened as I was reviewing the footage that I already had. The kitten was right out here and she just loves to play with the kitten. The kitten plays a little bit, and this is Ranger. Ranger plays a little bit, but he's not a, what do you think she is? Maybe 45-pound dog. So he doesn't like to play with her the way that she likes to play, and so she charged at him and hit him enough that he rolled, and then he was done and he ran away, and she started chasing him, and I told her to come. She didn't listen. Lucy, come. She didn't listen, and so I did that, come, and she came. So I did, good girl, sit. I made sure to really overemphasize that she did a good job in coming. She probably had her ears turned off. Again, I have kids ranging from 1-year-old to a 7-year-old, and sometimes their ears are just off, and it takes a lot of practice to keep those ears open and listening. So she probably didn't even hear me the first 2 times until I did the and that made her kind of snap too. What a good girl. What a good girl. Good girl. And she actually does better than me sometimes when I tell her to heel. I trained her to heel on my left side always, and I always corrected her to go to my left side. And that way I can have my right hand open and she stays at my left. And when I walk her holding her leash in my left hand. So sometimes she does better than I do. When I tell her to heel and I expect her here, she goes to my left side. All right, so let's move around, try to get her distracted. We can work some more on name recall. And then after that, we might get her a toy and work on drop it. Should we do it? You're a good girl. Lucy. She's not dumb. She's not dumb. She knows I have a whole pocket full of treats. Good girl. Lay down. Good girl. Yes. All right, maybe we'll go by the animals and see if that will help get her distracted. I'm not trying to make her distracted, but it seems like every day when I come out and I have something to do, I'm trying to get something done, or I have the kids with me, she's so excited to see me, and usually that first few minutes she's just so excited, and so she will make mistakes like chase something or not listen or start to knock down the kids a little bit, but then she calms down. Like this, she's very calm and she's listening. So I know just working with her for those few minutes will really help with that. But in the meantime, I want to recreate that as much as possible so we can get practice with her listening to me right away. And I know it just takes time and doing it over and over again, but right now it's easier because I don't have the kids with me. I already fed this morning, so I can just focus solely on her. But now she knows that, so she doesn't need to act out. Hi, Lucy. You're a good girl. All right, let's go find something else. Let's go. All right, let's see if this is a good one. She loves these toys, and it actually works out well when it's just rained, because when they're wet, you can throw them a lot farther. When they're dry, I can only throw it like 6 feet. But she loves these and she doesn't want to give them up. So I have treats in my pocket. I will tell her to drop it so that I can throw it again for her. All right, Lucy, sit. Sit. Yes. Go get it. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Oh, she already knows. Good girl. She says, I know what you're gonna do, Mom. Good girl, Lucy. You wanna do it again? You want it? Yes. Sit. Ah, Lucy. Good. Ah, sit. Good girl. Go get it. Yes! Good girl! Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Arr! Arr! I'm gonna play tug of war so she doesn't want to drop it. Arr! All right, Lucy, drop it. Lucy, drop it. Yes, good girl, yes. Good girl. All right, let's do it one more time. Ready, sit. Lucy, sit. Sit. Okay, so one thing that I've learned is that if you ask them over and over and over and over to do the same thing, like if I said sit, 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 she's going to say, well, why is it important for me to listen the first time? I still get rewarded after I listen, after 5 times or 10 times. And so usually I'll ask her once and then I'll pause and I'll try to differentiate, like, okay, you didn't do it that time. I'm going to wait and I'm going to give you a second chance. So I asked her 2 or 3 times. They are kind of spread out over, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. And then she was just staring at me. So I disengaged with her. I'm going to try to re-engage with her and ask her again and give her another chance. Lucy, sit. Yes, good girl. All right, you want your toy one more time? Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna get it? Ready? Go get it. Good girl. It's funny, I can already start to see some of her puppiness fading. Oh, you found a ball. Is that your ball? Is that your ball? Oh, fox or ball? That's hard. You want me to throw your ball? Good girl. Is that your ball? Good girl. See, come. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Drop it. What a good girl. That's so good. That's so good. Okay. What a good puppy. Come here. Give me lovin'. Give me lovin'. Yes, I love you. Yes. Ah, no bite. Lucy. Shh. Good girl. No bite. Good girl. I had an idea. I think we're going to take a walk through the woods to see if she can get distracted, because there's plenty of squirrels and deer poop and lots of smells. So I think we'll do that, and then we can work on name recall. So we've worked on heel, drop it. We'll do name recall, and I think that'll be it for today. Should we go for a walk? All right, let's go. So I think the greatest test will be when I can walk with her with the chickens and with the goats. But she is only 6 months old, and I still have to be a lot more consistent with working her on a regular basis, and it wouldn't be fair to put her in that situation yet. So maybe in a few months, especially because we're going to be away from home for about 2 weeks traveling, and so I don't think that that would be fair to expect her to do that after we haven't worked together that much. So when we get back from our trip, we'll definitely work on just normal recall and healing without a lot of distractions, and then maybe eventually I'll take her in with the chickens or the goats. That way, if they get out, she doesn't freak out and get so excited she wants to chase them and drive them away from me. She might even be able to help me in the future try to get them without scaring them. So those are future plans. I know we're not there yet, but we'll just keep working. So ever since we got Lucy when she was 8 weeks old, I would take her for walks around the property, and not here in the forest when she was so tiny. I think we probably have only gone on a few walks in the forest, but since fall the kids really wanted to walk through the forest. We have a little path that we cleared. It, I think, used to be an actual trail, but then it just turned into like a deer path. And it was just completely covered in saplings and brambles, but last year Matt went through and cleared out this path. There was a couple times that my son even brought his go-kart through here, because this is the path that leads to, I don't know, it might be about 8 acres of pasture that connect to the end of our property here. So it's kind of just a nice path to walk through the forest and see some animals. But it's nice for Lucy too, because there is a lot for her to see. So let's just see how she does. The dog across the street hears her. Lucy, come. Yes, good girl. Oh, you know. Oh, you know. What a good girl. All right, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Go on. She says, I'll heal for you, Mom. Good girl. And again, I have that long lead on. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck, but if she tries to run off or she's not listening, then I can pull her back to me a lot easier than if she didn't have a lead on. You can go ahead. You're a good girl. Lucy, come. Come. Yes. Come. Yes, good girl. Nope, sit. Good girl. Good girl. She says, I want to see the dog. I want to meet him. Lucy, come. Good girl. Heel. Heel. Good girl, yes. Good girl. Again, I know I was talking about the beagles not really being eager to please. The other big difference between beagles and labs is just walking off leash. There was just no hope. There was probably one of the best stories about our beagles, and we have so many. They were really like our first kids. Tucker, who was the 14-year-old, and he died of kidney failure in the summer. He was so smart. He was probably as smart maybe as at least a 3 or 4-year-old child. He was so smart. There was one time that we went out to the desert and we took him with us, and we were out there camping, dirt bike riding, target shooting, and he was a puppy. He must have only been, I don't know, 4 to 6 months old. And so we took him out there with us, and as we were watching him, we started to let him off leash when he was just really close to us, and he knew the word careful really well. If he didn't listen to anything else, he listened when we said careful, because he knew that something was going to happen and we were trying to keep him safe. So we would say careful, careful, and he would watch us and stay really close to us. And so he stayed right next to us in camp as we were up and watching him. But then I think it was midday and it was hot, and we decided, okay, we're all just going to take a nap. It was me and Matt and our friend Warren. And so we laid down and we took a nap in the camper. And as we were falling asleep, I heard the door of the camper. Like, what was that? And I think I looked up and I saw Tucker scampering off outside, and I'm like, Matt, Tucker, he ran off. And so we shot up out of the camper, and we just saw him bolting across the desert, of course, towards the highway. And so I think, let's see, Matt jumped on his dirt bike and sped after him. On the way, he saw a coyote with something in his mouth the size of Tucker, and he said, oh great, now I get to see my dog being killed. And he chased down the coyote, like pinned it as fast as he could, and scared the coyote until the coyote dropped it. And it wasn't Tucker. So then he looped around and saw Tucker in the middle of the highway, in the middle, just the center line, and this big truck coming towards him. And he thought, okay, I'm going to see my dog getting killed. But thankfully the truck stopped, they got out, and Tucker was just happy as could be, wagging his tail, thinking that he was just the best dog ever. And the people picked him up, and thankfully Matt was able to get there soon enough and tell him, like, oh hey, that's my puppy. And so the people drove him over in their truck back to camp. And so, yeah. And then we had another incident with Moose where he escaped in the desert as well, and it took hours to get him back, and he was just like a different dog. It wasn't him. If he was away from us and he knew it, he was a different dog and he would not listen. And so, needless to say, beagles, at least our beagles, could not be off leash. So having this, where she's just having fun exploring and she listens to me for the most part. Let's see if she does. Lucy, come. Ah, come. Yes, good girl. What do you have? Do you want this? Good girl. To me, that's just amazing. That's never happened with any dog that I had before. So I'm thankful for her, and I want to keep working with her to keep up that discipline and that skill. What a good girl you are, huh? Lucy, come. Yes, good girl. Hi, sweetie. You're such a good girl. Lucy, come. Where'd you go? There she is. Hi, sweetie. Hi. I know. I love you too. You're a good girl. So busy. What is that? Oh, what is it? Kind of going along with an update on Lucy, how she's doing. Part of the purpose that we had for getting a large dog to have on the homestead was to, I guess, maybe not necessarily be a livestock guardian dog, but at least a farm dog who mostly lives outside, which she loves. Even from when she was a puppy, she's been happiest outside, and that might have something to do with how I've been training her. Whenever I play with her, whenever I train her, it's always outside. So from the earliest age when she came to us, she associated inside with just resting, and then outside with playing and having fun and getting treats and exploring. So she's just always wanted to be outside. And the only time she ever kind of yip barks is when she would when she was inside and she just wanted to go outside. So we have had no problem with her ever crying to come inside. She's never barked or cried to come inside once in her life. She just loves being out here. So that has really helped. It's actually saved, I'm sure, quite a few of our animals so far, because if you saw in my raising Cornish cross chickens video a few months back, we had a neighbor's dog come through our property and kill, I think, at least 6 of our chickens that day, and it was devastating. So that dog has since come back quite a few times, and there's one time that I chased it down on foot. It's a nice dog. That's the hardest part. It's a nice dog, but it just roams, and it's just its nature to go and kill things. So even though I hate to do it because it's a nice dog, I need to protect my property and my animals. And so I chased it down on foot one time, and then one time it was about to come up on my driveway. It was down by the road, and I was in the van, and I chased it down in the van, and it kept thinking, like, what are you doing? Why do you keep coming towards me? And I kept driving at it, not anywhere close to hitting it, but driving at it to drive it away from my driveway. And finally it turned around and ran back towards home. So I know that it comes back, and I have seen it before where Lucy has barked and chased him off, because even though she's the cutest little 6-month-old puppy, she sounds pretty ferocious. So she barked and chased him off one time, and probably once every few nights I hear her going crazy at the back door because she sees or hears something. And she is posted up right where our chickens are and the goats are currently. And so that's another reason why I kind of want to keep the chickens close by the house there, is because Lucy will always be there. And if an animal tries to come close, she'll hear it or smell it or see it and bark and chase them away. So I feel better having her on the farm and giving us that little extra security. And so far she's doing a really good job at it. So I think that does it for this video. I'm going to take off her long lead line so that she doesn't get wrapped up. I only have this on when I'm working with her. But she'll probably take a nap now, to be honest. But she's still growing. You're a good girl. So I'm glad that you followed along with me on a day of training Lucy. Again, this is something that I need to be doing every single day, and I'm going to do as much work as I can with her before we leave for a couple weeks, and then when we get back it'll have to be really intensive, because anytime where you fall out of practice with something, you need a lot more practice. So same with kids and puppies, even adults, huh? But I'm so proud of her. She's been doing so well, and we just love her so much. She's a sweet girl. Huh, Lucy, can I have kisses? Oh yes, I love you. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching Little Lady Homestead, and I'll see you in my next video. She's so sweet. Yes. And I'd love to know, does anybody else's dog nibble on them like they're scratching them whenever they get scratches? She always does that. She does this to me to give me scratches. You sweet girl. Yes, you are. You sweet puppy. I love you. Yes. Let's go.